Let's see who we got in here. Hey guys, Sean Bougie, surplusfundsriches.net. This is our live question and answer webinar. All questions are welcome. Let's see if I can change something real quick here. There we go. All questions are welcome. There will be a replay of this. And also, if someone could do me a favor and in the comment section, let me know you can hear and see me okay. That would be great. We will also put, I'm going to put a comment in here. And this comment will be .net, the link to the upcoming big sale January the 1st. Hear you all good, loud and clear. This is Ann Russell, 30-Day Jeff, and MaxTaxPlus.com. Okay, surplus funds done at NYS26. Now, I know, remember guys, any and all questions are welcome. Sorry, I was looking at the comments here. Get something out of the way. Any and all questions are welcome. I know I'm going to go a lot of questions, and I'm going to cover most of what I can on the new program launching January the 1st. It is the Tax Surplus Strike Force, and I know a lot of you guys have questions about that. So I'm going to go over a few things right up front, little notes I put together. Yes, it works in all tax deed states. Most, if not all, we'll take from. Tax deed states does not mean tax lien states. It means where if people have not paid their taxes, the county will actually sell the property. That's why they use a deed, sell the property at the auction. And there's a lot of those. Post-sale redemption states are just fine. Let me make a note here because I'm getting some stuff coming in pretty quick. Shalani, good evening. Audio and video good. How have you been? I'm good. Just got the thumbs up from my doctor that I replaced my knee 6 weeks ago, and everything looks fantastic. This was the second knee I had replaced. So all knees have now been replaced. Also in the comment section, guys, you'll see surplusfundsriches.net, NYS26. That's where you can sign up for the sale January the 1st. And I'm going to go into more detail on what the program does. I'm going to start over with that real quick. It works in tax deed states. Most, if not all, will take submissions from. As obviously, guys, look, we profit from putting deals together with our partners, right? So we're going to want to do as many as we possibly can, and it's going to be the vast majority. Post-sale redemption states, I got a question about that before, and I love smart questions like that. Yes, if some states allow for post-sale redemption where the owner can either pay the high bidder back or pay the taxes off after the foreclosure has occurred and get the property back. We've got a method for still working it as a surplus funds deal without them being able to do that, because we've had that happen to us before. It cost us a lot of money to learn that lesson. Remember, we give them good faith money. We use a structured buyout and give them good faith money when we put deals together for our members. One of the reasons why we do as well as we do. And they had $10,000 in good faith, and they used that to redeem the property. Learn that lesson. Yes, we'll handle probate and or estate deals, just like we do with National and with Panning for Hidden. 35% of net, 35% of the net is your commission. The average, I'm projecting the average around $5,000. Your job is to curate a list and research the debt, mortgage. Let me see. Yeah, the mortgages and liens, that type of debt, to make sure that there isn't a creditor in the way. You will not need a county list. Okay, we'll go more into details as we get closer to the sales date on that. And we had a top producer that's been with us for a long time, beta tested, and he got paid on that. So that was a big deal. And thank you for that. If you're here, I'm sure you are tonight. You're pretty good at coming out. Mary says hi. Cheryl Williams, hi guys, all good here. Tier Annie Smith, hello. Support gave the same. Yep, gave the same link I did. The Mustard Seed Academy, is Florida included? No, Florida is going to continue. That's a great question. Florida is a separate program for us than our national, and the reason for that is for us it's a protected area, simply because it's so different. The statutes are so different there. We had to make a separate program for it. And let me tell you something about Florida. So right now, I believe it's on sale on the site. We were going to pull that. By the way, we're pulling everything off end of November, beginning of December, probably 31st at midnight, whatever. We're pulling it all off. It could be before then, so don't hold my feet to the fire on that. But we will not be selling programs in December at all. If you are interested in Florida, I believe it's on right now for $4.97, which is stupid cheap, and I would go buy it now. Now, just so you guys know, I know that I put a thing here, surplusfundsriches.net/NYS26 is how you can reserve your spot for the new sale coming January 1st. By the way, big bonuses going out to people, the first 35 people that buy that day. So you need to show up at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Having said that, you can also go to the site, surplusfundsriches.net, and there should be a join the force, I believe, up top. And you can click on that to get to the sign-in page. Register your spot. If you're serious, register your spot because you'll get notifications of the sale. Is there any way to get update on files that we have submitted to Randy Smith? So you're certainly welcome to reach out to me, but we typically get in touch with you whenever we get one under contract. And I'm happy to take your question, but my crew handles that. Whenever we get one under contract, we will contact you, typically through email, let you know that we've got when I say under contract, we've gotten the documents back and we've had it reviewed by the attorney to make sure it's something we can claim. At that point, we will contact you, let you know that we're under contract and it's gone to the attorney. Further on, when we're close to getting paid out, typically a week or two out, we will also contact you to let you know that, and then we'll contact you when we're getting really close, like we've already received the check, and double check all the information from you so we can send it out to you. Jeff says, good evening, Jeff T. And just from your short videos and descriptions, seem to be like a cross between stealth and panning. I think it's close to panning. I call it that. Different still. And I do think the tax arena there's kind of a trade-off, guys, between tax and mortgage overages, all right? And the trade-off is less people are doing mortgage overages, but less people are doing mortgage overages, so there's a little less competition there. More people are doing tax, but there's also an insane amount of opportunity. And this is working on the tax surplus side. So yeah, I say it's got some things in common with panning. Anthony Thomas, good evening. Gearing up to purchase a new program during the New Year's sale. Thank you, Anthony. Anthony, excited for you too, man. I know you've been turning them in here. Support. Florida has a separate program, so it will be not included in the new program. Yep. You can add on Florida surplus on New Year's Day. This is Jeff talking. He's my business partner. When you buy the new program, you can do that. Mary, does it need to be over 50K to work the mortgage overage? I don't think it's going to be that high. Just so you guys know, and this is every time we do this, within the last week or two before we launch it, we've got it written. We've got most of the videos done. There's usually one or two things that Jeff and I are still arguing about, and the minimum amount is, I would say, is probably one of those things, unless Jeff has made up his mind on that. But it's not going to be 50 as a minimum. I don't think we have anything that high. Tirani says, cool, thank you. Let's see what else we got here. Got any more? Hey guys, any and all questions are great. I have noticed that a bunch more people have jumped in. So I am going to, hold on one second. I'm sorry. All right. I'm going to go through my points again. I'm going to go real quick, though. This is for the Tax Surplus Strike Force launching January 1st, 10 a.m. Eastern, $397, 60% off. Launch price is the launch price. So that's $397 instead of $1,000. Works in tax deed states, most, if not all. The foreclosures actually hit. There's some of those out there. Yes, we can work those as well. I got that question. Yes, we'll handle probate and or estate deals. I'm seeing the new questions. Thank you. 35% of net commission, projected average is around $5,000 on a deal. Guys, I have the same type of projection for national surplus, the projection. I've paid somebody over $30,000 on that program. I've paid people closer to $2,500 if a bunch of judgments showed up that we weren't aware of. $5,000 is going to be the average. Your job is to curate a list and research the debt, mortgage and liens, to make sure there's no creditor that's in front of the owner as a claimant. And let's see. We're going to be the absolute first in because you don't need a county list on this. We're going to be in front of everybody. And that's why I said earlier it's similar to panning. The competition level is just not there. It's going to be awesome. And we had a top producer panning system. The minimum is 35 grand. And are you able to give a general idea of what you mean about saying we will curate the list? So that's part of the little secret sauce that we're going to be letting people know closer to the sales date. I'm not trying to be coy or anything like that. I know that, well, first of all, it just needs to be said. I'm not being arrogant. I'm not trying to take a shot, but it needs to be said. A lot of my competitors watch my stuff. A lot of my competitors buy my stuff. So we're not going to give you guys a really in-depth idea of what's going on until the last minute. So we can be the first in and continue. Even when they know what we're doing, it'll take them 3 to 6 months to get up to speed. They still do not copy us as far as using structured buyout systems. A lot of the guys are not teaching to use attorneys. A lot of them are not giving you multiple ways to put deals together if you want to do it on your own. A lot of them are not really doing what they need to do as far as training, especially checking debt. So we're a lot different with that, but we're gonna not let the cat completely out of the bag just yet. And I understand, but at least I want to ask about Celtic. Well, you got it. No problem. No problem at all, guys. I encourage all questions. Bring them on. And by the way, thank you very much. I know that earlier I kind of blew it off. Someone asked how I was doing because I had a recent knee surgery, and thank you very much for that. This community means a lot to me, not just personally, but obviously for the business side of it. Somebody always asks a question that you didn't think to ask, and that's kind of a big deal. Um, while I'm waiting, because it sounded like I got glitchy there for a little bit. While I'm waiting for more questions to come in, I will let you know that one of our best years this year. Very happy with that. I am so sorry. We will have board update coming up next week. I know I've been promising this forever, but I'll get that up there. Of course, I'll be reaching out also to anybody that's got anything recently under contract. I am very proud of the crew, and a lot of you guys don't know. So this is important. What do you get if you decide you want to partner up with us on one of our systems? Okay. Well, besides the PDF, obviously, right, step by step in written form, that also has a link with a resources page with additional video training. Although, frankly, you don't need the video training if you read the ebook twice for comprehension and do the file example. But you've also got the resources page linked from it, and that has video training, submission information, our active files list, so you can actually check the name on the file before submitting it to us, so you don't research something right that we already have in there. We don't have a saturation issue, but it's nice that we put that up on, and that's updated throughout the week. So that's good. Helps avoid issues. Um, but it's just important to understand that what you're also getting is the back end. I have full-time case managers, plural. Okay. I have a attorney liaison. All she does is work with our central attorney and with frontline attorneys if we also need a frontline, which is very frequent, especially since we're working probate and estate files. Okay. I have a supervisor, obviously. I also have, oh, good Lord, I've got the attorney liaison. I've got the assistant to the attorney liaison. I've got the supervisor and I've got the case managers. And they're handling a huge caseload. And we are skip tracing all these that are turned in. Okay. Skip tracing all of them. We're mailing them, calling them, making a physical file, which we typically work off through the process, and then also update, right, our CRM as we go. But using that actual physical file in there, and they're calling and mailing, and we're not just calling and mailing the individual. In a lot of instances, we're calling and mailing their possible relatives and associates, especially when it's an estate situation, a probate situation, heirship situation. R. Harris says, which one of your programs is good for buying a home for myself to live in? If you're going to buy a home, Harris, get one of our deed flipping programs. That'll be in a bundle during the sale. There may be a bundle right now. I can take a look. Hold on. Let's see. I'm doing this in the background. Oh, sorry. Just going real quick. Hmm. Yeah, right now you can get the best bundle, which is ridiculous. 50 bucks off, 797, 100 bucks off actually, 797 at surplusfundsriches.net, and it's got other programs in it as well. Mustard Seed Academy. Approximately how many submissions would you say it takes to get a file under contract? I've submitted a large amount. It's a way to get first deal. First of all, Mustard Seed, I still have not given updates for like 3 or 4 weeks. And I'm sorry about that. And I will get to that. Um, Having said that, I never touch that. And let me tell you why. I'll tell you completely why. It's statistics. I have had a person turn in one file and get paid on it. I had a person turn in 5 files and get paid on 3. I've had a person turn in 50 or more files and get none. There's also a delay. Now, what's going to happen in the next, well, before the end of the year, is we're going to be getting in touch with a lot more people. And they're also coming up on Christmas. This is the fourth quarter is a great time for us to put deals on a contract. So keep that in mind. But I never touch conversion rate because it doesn't apply to everybody. Yeah, it's not how statistics works, right? Like I said, girl, actually, the woman that turned in that one that got it under contract, I kid you not, highest payout was over 30 grand on the National Surplus Funds program. Highest payout we've done. And she turned in one and never turned in another one after that. Don't understand it either. Had somebody turn in 5, paid on 3. Had 50 plus, nothing. So I don't touch that. If you go, I think if you go to my site or my channel on YouTube, Surplus Funds Riches, all one word, you should be able to search it. I believe it's called deal rate or conversion rate, and it's a video, and it goes into all the different variables that you can encounter when you're doing this. So that's going to be important for you to check that out. Okay. Like death, right? A lot of people die alone. It doesn't matter if we work estate and heirship deals, that type of thing, if there are no heirs. Now, granted, all the kids are dead. You know, you can go up to back up the tree, depending on the state. There's different ways to do that. But you'd be amazed how many people die alone. We can't work the deal. It's just dead. How many people have moved out of the country in the last 3 months? Uh, Probably quite a few. You know, especially they were saying a lot of people voluntarily left, and they had a lot of those people had homes. Um, Hold on. Hey, Sean, if a house owner has a court case that resulted in fines, like a DUI, does that become a lien against the house if not paid? And it's not listed as a lien against the house when researching. Okay. So if you know they have a judgment or a lien against them that is not recorded in the register of deeds, you need to include. That's why there's a judgment section in the. That's a great question in the title worksheet. A lot of areas you can't check that, but if you know for a fact that that's owed and it's not something that has expired, I don't even know on a municipal lien for DUI if that's ever going to expire. Don't know, but you're going to need to put that on there. Okay. Um, and you have to understand. So after you guys do this and check, again, if you see a judgment against the individual, that is recorded in the same county as where the house was. That will also count against surplus. Okay. If it's in record, we run into this a lot. If it's recorded in another state or whatever, if you happen to have a TLO or something like that that tells you that, it doesn't count. It has to be recorded in the same county as where the house was located in order to count against the surplus funds and have a priority claim. Okay. But yeah, it's going to count if it hasn't expired. Now, even tax liens, IRS, usually it's a 10-year deadline expiration on that. They can play a little hinky stuff with that, back it up a little bit and go, oh, yeah, but it was against this, or they can do some silly stuff, but still, they typically expire in 10 years. State liens, it depends on state liens or judgment state income tax judgments in those states where they have state income tax can also stay on depending on the rule within the state, typically 10 years, sometimes a little bit longer. But the DUI, yeah, it's not a matter of does it become a lien against the house. Even debt that was against the owner prior to that foreclosure, that's going to count. it's going to count, and you need to realize that. And Carol, that was a great question. Guys, keep them coming. We've got about 11 minutes left. And I always get it where at the last minute, everybody goes, oh my gosh, I probably need to ask my question. Yeah, that would be the time for you to do that. I'm going to scroll but make sure I didn't miss anything either. Guys, I just want to say again, I really appreciate you guys. There's a lot of people that are on board with us that are really working hard, and that makes all the difference. And we've got a great community. And one of the things I'm proud of, and I'm certainly not your dad or anything like that, but I'm still proud. I'm proud of being part of this community because, for instance, I'll post a check or a congratulations on the Facebook page occasionally. Some of the sample checks, I'll put them up there. They're real checks, but I mean, it's just a sample of what we're bringing in. I'll post that up there, and people are going, way to go. And that's great today because so many people are covetous and they're just out there hating other people because they're making money where they're not or whatever. And it's nice to see a community that supports each other and gives each other a pat on the back. That's kind of a big deal, and I like being a part of that. We've been doing this a long time, guys. Over 40,000 files worked. It's probably closer to 50 now, but I'm going to say 40 just to be on the safe side. Over 40,000 files worked. Almost 20 years in the business, 15 training, and 10 plus in partnering with people. So nobody else has that. Nobody else has that kind of experience or time in. Carol, thanks. The info was from a not so reliable site. Aha! So I couldn't find it anywhere else. There you go. And a lot of states, guys, the reason, look, if you can see judgments against an individual or liens against an individual that are not in the register of deeds or land records department, where you typically research debt against the property, but you can see it, absolutely use our title worksheet for that. We don't, if it's not something readily available, we don't expect you to try to go find it. So that's just leave that alone. That's something we will check with the attorney once we get the documents back. It is ridiculously extremely accurate. We always have an attorney double check. Give you guys an example. We have one right now. It's in North Carolina. It's approximately 88,000. However, when all said and done, the court's probably going to cut a check for about 84, 85 because there was a $1,600 TD Ameritrade lien, which I don't know how they would get a lien there. I believe that they're a brokerage firm. But there was also another $800 judgment also against the individual. We had to notify people with a possible interest in the surplus. They both responded they're going to show up, which means we've got to pay them out. And it was about $2,400, but that's going to end up being $4,000 when you add in the interest that has come about while this has been a judgment and recorded. Jelani, Sean, is the team still notifies when a file is under contract? Would I be finding out during the upcoming deal board video? No, I will get up with you, Jelani. I'm just letting you know I'm at least a couple weeks behind on that. A big part of that was up until this past week, I was out of commission. I'm about 6 weeks in to a brand new. And for the I was just really glad I have a business partner, Jeff, to handle stuff, and Jenna, the supervisor of the crew. Excuse me, because I was useless for the first, probably actually 4 weeks. Could not even go into the office until a week and a half ago. So I'm catching up on that. I apologize. I'm behind the eight ball a little bit as far as the amount of work I've got to get done. And as there's no excuse for it, that's something I simply don't typically farm out to anyone on the staff. Just like I don't farm out during this whole thing. I was also doing payroll for the staff, and believe me, I was having that double check before I sent it out because of some of the pain stuff I was on. Sean, yes, understandable. No worries, brother. Take your time. Sorry about that, though, Jelani. There's no excuse. Next time around, that'll be fixed because I'll have somebody else that can handle that for me. No problem there. Again, it can be under contract. The documents can be back, and it still might be a week or two before we contact you, right before we send out the good faith to the people. And the reason for that is we may get a hiccup. The attorney may go, hey, wait a minute. I see something here. We're going to need them to sign off on this judgment against Carol Felder is not an actual judgment against her. It's a different Carol Felder. We need to get that signed too. Okay. So we're going to call her back and double check that wasn't a real deal. I'll give you an example. Believe it or not, guys, I know this is going to sound shocking, But people are going to lie to us in this business. I know. I know. Still can't believe it. But we had a guy that we're working with recently now, and we had to just drop it. And this is another reason why I don't contact you right away. I have the attorney double check stuff. The guy, we had the attorney check $465,000 IRS tax lien. Now, guys, we were going after about 100 grand. Okay. 465,000 not expired IRS tax lien. And it gets worse. Attorney double checked it because I was like, let's just double check. It's still around 100 grand. Let's make sure this is still there. It's the right person, all that. Because the owner was like, oh, I don't know if I've got any extra debt. I can't speak to that. Okay, whatever. It wasn't just an IRS tax lien, it was a tax evasion lien. And there was criminal time that was associated with that it looked like he was going to serve. So, of course, we called him back and said, hey, man, don't know what to tell you. We're not going to be able to get this out. And he was like, well, I thought you were really good and you could get it out. And then I'd worry about the IRS thing. No, the court knows about that. It's recorded in the court. They're not going to pay it out. And just so you guys know, because I get this a lot, right? A lot of people ask, hey, if they don't show up, if the creditors don't show up to make the claim, you'll get all the money. No, that's not how it works. You've got to notify. If you don't get any response, I can tell you, North Carolina and a bunch of the states, if they do not respond, that doesn't mean that they lose. Okay, just means that they can't prove the point that they're owed more. Now you can leave the money behind. Let's say it's 100 grand. There's $50,000 in debt, $25,000 credit card debt, and a $25,000 tax lien. This is after calculating interest, right? We can leave that in the county registry and take the rest for the owner. But if there's more owed to creditors than is due, more owed to creditors that is due actually in total surplus, we're out of luck. Okay. I have a case from the last board, and I haven't heard anything more about should I check in. You can, Carol. Look, if something changes on a board update, we're definitely going to get back to you. I think you and I went back and forth, maybe not. My email address, I believe, my direct. It's teambuige, TEAM, and then my last name, B as in boy, UIGE @gmail. Get up with me there. Ask me again. But typically, we'll let you know when we get in our contract. Either you saw it on the board, and then we'll let you know when we're a week or two out. Hello, sir. I started an overage business in 2020, and it was very slow to start. I got all my credentials. Just hard to locate people. Any suggestions? Yeah, buy the program. So you might have been, sorry, I've been a smart aleck. But yeah, we teach you how to do that, obviously. And you're a couple things you're doing wrong. I'm making an assumption. Tell me if, you know what, Ninjak, tell me if I'm wrong. Okay. I got a feeling I'm not. One is you're not using a real subscription-based people finder service. Okay. Either you're doing that. Carol, I got you. You're either not using a real one or you're using a crappy one. You're only trying to reach the ex-owner. This is why people partner with us, Ninjak, by the way, because we'll do this for you. We don't just try to get a hold of the owner, the claimant, the last owner prior to the sale. We also contact their relatives and associates so that somebody responds and gives us the right phone number if we can't reach them directly. Because guess what? They're in their car or in a shelter or their Aunt May's basement. So it's hard to reach them. Okay. They haven't popped up on a credit header, so no skip tracing system is going to work for them. Okay. You're laughing, Ninja. I see that. And that's not all. You're contacting them. When you are contacting them, you're not getting people believing you if you do get a hold of them. And why? Because you don't tell them where the money is. Okay. You go, well, once I get my contracts back, I'll tell you where that money is. Okay. That sounds like you're telling them they got a Saudi prince that owes them a ton of money. Okay. It sounds so scammy. Sounds so scammy. It's unbelievable. The other thing is you need to do a takeaway. You won't get any response. You got to do mailings and calls. Okay. Don't just try to call. You have no credibility. We use attorneys. That's another thing we tell them when we call them. You got to use the takeaway. Zig Ziglar said it. The fear of loss outweighs the desire for gain. So you've got to take it away from them. And we've got that, the letter to use in that and the voicemail to use in that. That's what I'm guessing is your main thing was. You have to be able to walk away. Hey, leave a message. Hey, trying to reach you. I understand that you probably don't believe this is real. And I get that. Again, my website is blank, blank, blank. Love to work with you. give me a call. If you're working with somebody else, also let me know. You're going to run into that a lot too, guys. It's not saturated, but there's still a good bit of people working it. Hey, if you're already working with somebody else, let me know, please. I'll take your name off the list. And by the way, if I don't hear back from you, I'm going to take a quick look, make sure there isn't another creditor that might be entitled to the money instead of you. And I'll work with them instead. Just giving you a heads up. Thank you. That's it. Okay. And you do the same thing with a mail takeaway. Yes, mailing did work better than cold calls. Well, Ninjak, you got to work them together. You got to have an online presence. You got to have a website. Okay. We have a great one for it. But we teach you how to get your own. You can get that for free practically and templated. But everything has to work together. No was doing it on my own. I really need some direction. Buy the program. Get the full one just because it goes into all three methods for how you can put them under contract on the back end. National Surplus, the full program, it's up right now. Surplusfundsriches.net. It's $5.97. Great way to go. That's a fantastic ebook, and it'll take you step by step. Now, we are not video. I know some of the guys out there are video heavy, and that's all they do. You can't really learn from that. This is text heavy and in a PDF. Then there's also additional video training. Read the ebook twice for comprehension. Do the file example at the end of the ebook, and you will be golden. Yep. Of course, it's a great price. It's good Lord. It's about 30% of everybody else. 40%. Carol says the program's awesome, so worth it. From her mouth, Ninjak, not me. Anyway, guys, we're at the end of our time. Again, check out surplusfundsriches.net. You can put a / this will be in the comments and description tomorrow morning when this is up in the replay, / NYS, short for New Year's Sale, 26, NYS 26. You can also go to surplusfundsriches.net. Just click on the banner at the top that talks about joining the force, the Tax Surplus Strike Force. Have a good night and have a happy Thanksgiving. This is Cheryl. Yeah, guys, have a great Thanksgiving. Be safe. You're welcome to call me with any questions about the program. Again, there's a limit to what I'm going to go into in depth, but you're very welcome, Carol. But you're welcome to call me at 704-791-9398, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, 704-791-9398. Thanks, guys.